Right now we're going to pause our TBR7 project that we got going on here, and we're going to stop and work on a Dodge. So if you subscribe to my channel for the TBR7 videos, just know I'm working on it, but right now we have to fix a driver's side window regulator. The window won't go down. So I diagnosed this the other day, and I realized that it's the cable that the regulator uses, and I'll show you. Today we're going to be replacing the window regulator in the driver's side door on a 2008 Dodge Avenger 2.7 liter V6. So those are the specs for the car, and we'll get into the project. So the first thing you want to do is take out this little cover here, and there's a torque bit behind that. And then take out that little cover here, and there's a torque bit behind that. On the outside here, you're using a T20 Torx bit. So I'm going to use the GoPro head cam and the Sony cam because I never know if I have the GoPro angle right. You're going to want to also remove this little plastic cover here, which you can just pop off with your pry tool. I did this the other day by hand, so today I was thinking I'd like to do it not by hand. You can do it by hand, but much nicer not doing it by hand. Especially when we get inside and you see how many bolts are in there. Those 10 millimeters, oh, terrible. So once you get the screws out, you can pry up on this. That's all you really need to do right there. Just get this handle to lift up. And then now we'll just move on. If you don't have pry tools, I don't really use them anyways. So I want to be careful now that my tools holding the window up don't move. I think that's the only thing holding us in right now is those pry tools. So you're going to want to lift it up over your door lock. So once you take the outer door panel off, you're going to have this door latch that you can unhook. And to do that, you flip this little yellow piece over. You can do it with a screwdriver, but you don't really need to. And once you do that, you just lift this little metal hook up. You take this metal clamp back here off, and then this will come up. It's kind of hard to do it and hold the camera without the door moving. Come on. You want to just pull it out that little slot. And then make sure not to lose your metal piece. So now you have your wire connections here. I have to do this and hope the GoPro picks it up because just the way the door panel needs to be closer. The first two have the press down clips on the back side towards the rear of the car, and this front clip, it's on the opposite side because they like confusing you. So that one's going to be a little different. Then you get the door panel off. Get that out of the way. So once you get the outer door panel off, this is what you're going to see. You have this little rubber hole here where you can see into your window. And our cables aren't hooked up now anyways because the other day I had to untangle it around the motor. Our next step is going to be taking the speaker out and disconnecting that, and disconnecting these wire connections. They're like little plastic clips that hold the wires into the door. In little spots like this, you just take them and move them out. So that way we can get everything off. So for the speaker, it's the same T20 bit. Oh, this is going to go so much faster today using power tools. So once you get your speaker out and disconnected, all these connections only go to one thing, so you don't have to be worried about getting them confused. So you're going to want to take all these outer bolts off that are 10 millimeter. Had to go trade batteries and steal the one off the string trimmer. So here we are with the door panel disconnected. And we're not going to take the lock off because there's a piece of plastic connected back there. We have plenty of room right here. We flipped this wire up out of our way. And now we're looking at the bracket that's in there now, and you can see the wire is just a mess. We'll take that out. So the window regulator brackets, these black arms here, connect to the window using these white plastic pieces. But on the back, it's not connected. We slid it off the bracket. So you can slide this bracket probably in, right, it's caught on this door hole right here, but when we put that in, that'll slide right down and come off of that white piece. Now we can take the white pieces off of the glass. So when I threw it back together the other day, I didn't connect any of these things, and I didn't worry about connecting them because I knew it wasn't going to work again. This cable here is still good. There's nothing wrong with that one. We have our two arms there off the old bracket. They just slide out of these tracks here, so you can take those out. Our window's held up with wedges, so we have that going for us. And now I'll pull out the problem cable for you, and I think this is the one that caused the issue. Or at least one of the ones that caused the issue. But this was so snarled up on that little spool right there that there's no way you're going to get this to work again. So I've got our new regulator assembly out of the box here. The best part is the cables are already the way they need to be, so I don't have to mess with that, because when I took the problem on, they were all snarled up around the spool on the original one. So I've gone ahead and took the wedges out of the window, and it didn't fall down actually, so we lowered it a bit so we can see what's going on here. You have to get this plastic tab through the hole and get the new ones pushed in, so that's what we're working on. Hopefully the GoPro will pick it up for you when I figure out how to do it. Wow, it's gonna feel like you're about to break it, but... So I got the first one off just by pushing right in that slot with this flathead screwdriver, and then it slips up and scares you, and you think you're gonna break something, but I guess I got lucky. So now we just have to do the same thing with the rear one, and then we'll go for the reinstallation. So if you guys follow my videos here, this is the oil that came inside the TBR7 engine. You know, they call it shipping oil. So I saved it for something, and this is the perfect thing. Just get a little dab on our finger here. Give our little bracket some oil on this part that's got to go through, and the part that the window has to slide on. You just need a screwdriver to push in on that little tab to get it started, and we have to move ours back a little. Oil, it slid really far and easy. What's the deal here? Come on, lock in. It's so close. There we go. Now we're locked in. So we got our first bracket already connected for the regulator, and we have our plastic clamp in the window. The oil is definitely going to help, I think. And now we just have to connect our second one and put everything back together. Now we're just going to put these 4 bolts back in, get it lined up, put the motor on, throw everything back together, and hopefully it works. You can see the old one here. I was just explaining to the vehicle owner how that's never going to spool up again properly. You know, I could have put it back together the other way like this, but it's just too far gone. So I'm just getting them started right now. So we've got our window regulator mounted back to the door panel. Our door panel is pretty much lined up. The next thing we're going to do is reconnect the motor. And then we'll do that little computer box. So I've got the door panel bolted back on. The window's down a couple inches. I have the motor hooked up now. We're going to try to power it on, see if everything works, and if so, we'll put it back together. She jumped down a little fast. So it works good as new. These windows probably don't have the safety feature like in my VW R32, the what's it called, pinch protection. I made a video on that. I'll put the link down below for pinch protection, where if you get your arm stuck in the window, or your dog sticking its head out the window and then steps on the lever and the window goes up, it won't choke your dog to death. But these cheap Dodges, I bet they don't have that. So we're not even going to try it. We'll probably snag the cable and blow this whole thing up if we try something like that. But so next we'll put our speaker back in, connect that, and then just pop our door panel back on. Reconnect the door hinge. Basically all the steps you did, before. Just go backwards through those steps. Oh, we skipped a step? No, we're good. We're good. So there you go, 2008 Dodge Avenger driver's side window regulator replacement. The cause on this one was the bad cable. Somehow it got bound up, and then, you're not going to fix something like that. So another good part about doing this Dodge window is those parts are pretty much junk. But right here, these are still a couple of good cables right there. That could be used for a throttle cable on something. These are spare TBR7 parts right here. Score.